London, greatest city in the world. As a Londoner born and bred, I'm well excited that Watch Dogs Legion will be set in the capital I call home. So who got it right? From 19th century Buckingham Palace to a zombie-infested tube station, this is the best and worst of London in video games. Buckingham Palace, home to the Queen and London's most iconic building. Assassin's Creed Syndicate's near-perfect recreation of Buckingham Palace is the ideal playground for a 19th century assassin, with slack security guards, stashes of royal loot dotted around, and handily placed piles of leaves to jump into. But while Syndicate showcases Buckingham Palace before it was refaced in 1913, The Getaway, released in 2002, has a Buckingham Palace we're more familiar with these days. Unfortunately, you can't pester any royal guards or explore the palace grounds, but you can launch off the Victoria Memorial if you really want to.
Hey, wanker! Move! They've gone.
Thankfully, it won't be too long until we get to visit our beloved palace once again, and this time with a little less wall leaning, please. With Watch Dogs Legion promising a near futuristic take of both the Victoria Memorial and Buckingham Palace, I'm personally hoping to unleash my rule upon this near future London with my very own gang of pensioners, spider bots, and pub-dwelling geezers. But only time will tell if this dream can become a reality. With its packed stations and hordes of mindless commuters, there's a surprising similarity between riding London Underground trains in real life and that depicted in Zombie. In fact, it does an excellent job of capturing the feeling of riding the tube. There are automatic ticket gates, train seats with those minging little patterns on them, and dozens of brainless commuters shuffling along. There are some things it doesn't get right though. Have you ever seen a travel and car rental agency within a train station? I haven't. Also, the game starts at Shadwell Station, which is on the Overground line, but the in-game tube map places you at Mile End, which is both half an hour away and on a different train line. Come on guys. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 falls foul to a similar pitfall. Its Mind the Gap mission takes place on the Jubilee line, specifically at Canary Wharf. It then snakes west, past Westminster, so far so authentic, but a couple of minutes later, after the tube surges above ground and back down below, it eventually crashes at Westminster. Sort it out, lads. This isn't the Circle Line, and as a side note, no self-respecting Londoner would ever call the tube a subway train. Tomb Raider 3 doesn't do much of a better job either, with Lara sneaking into St. Paul's Cathedral and ending up in Aldwych Station, a station which closed down in 1994 and is also a 20-minute walk away from St. Paul's. On top of that, the station is also teeming with armed goons equipped with thick Geordie accents.
No face or flesh, man. And a bootin' doing the waste disposal shoot here. Presumed deed.
Considering the station's been closed for 25 years, who knows what could be going on? As always though, mind the gap and keep off the track. There is one game that nails the London Underground, or at least the Circle Line. Aptly and exhaustively titled World of Subways 3 London Underground Circle Line. It lets you drive a tube around London's orbital underground line and is so authentic I could even recognise the tube stations from my commute. Ah, I feel right at home. With its skyscrapers and distinctly individual buildings, the London skyline is both beautiful and instantly recognisable. Something PSVR game Blood and Truth does a brilliant job of capturing during an unexpected moment of calm in an otherwise bombastic experience. Standing on top of a crane, the sleeping city stretches out into the distance. The bulbous gherkin is instantly recognisable, as is the towering shard, which gets a rare appearance in a video game. That's what happens when a game developer based in London gets to remake the city it holds dear. In the same way, Uncharted 3 does a lovely job of capturing London's skyline. It too shows the Gherkin along with Tower Bridge and St. Paul's Cathedral. It also has black cabs on every street corner and the capital's iconic red telephone box. Admittedly, its geography is a bit off. To get Nate's viewpoint, a small mountain would have to dominate the borough of Southwark, but when the city looks this gorgeous, it's something I'm happy to overlook. When you're used to clogged streets and traffic jams, London always looks best through the windscreen of a speeding car. The likes of Gran Turismo and Project Gotham Racing have always shown this beloved city in a different light. In fact, the Gran Turismo 6 London track is probably the most accurate recreation of the West End I've ever experienced. And I doubt I'll ever see Oxford Street shops whiz past in a blur in real life. Racing games haven't always got the capital right though. London Racer and its sequel opted for negligence when recreating London, making Trafalgar Square a flat, barren stretch of grey, Chinatown an expansive two-way street, and Covent Garden Market a ghost town. With a title like London Racer and oversights like this, they should be done for false advertising. It's not the only game to use artistic license when it comes to representing the city. Look beyond GTA London's Union Jacks, Minis and red buses, and it's obvious it's not much more than a rework of the original game, with the capital's winding labyrinth of roads transformed to a grid, the kind you'll usually associate with an American city. At least everyone drives on the left-hand side of the road and is packed with cockneys spouting garbage like, "We're having a flutter on the football, a big flutter, and we don't lose flutters." Those are just some of the games that brought London to life, some more successfully than others. Here's hoping Watch Dogs Legion does our capital justice. And if you haven't had your fill of London-based action, check out our Watch Dogs Legion preview or our Assassin's Creed Syndicate real-life versus in-game comparison video.